When it comes to learning and achieving your goals, you owe it to yourself to take full responsibility for your journey. You see, so many people get caught up in the idea that their success depends on someone else, whether it's a teacher, a mentor, or even their family. But the truth is, the power lies within you. You are the one who holds the key to your future. It's all on you. The moment you realize that, something changes inside of you. No longer will you sit back and wait for motivation to come from external sources. No longer will you depend on others to push you toward your dreams. The responsibility is yours, and once you accept it, you'll start to see things in a different light. You are in control of your learning, your actions, and ultimately your success. It's a liberating thought because now you no longer have to wait for the right circumstances or the perfect moment. You create that moment by taking responsibility for it. And here's where many people get stuck. They expect results to happen quickly. They expect to learn everything instantly, but it doesn't work that way. Success is earned through hard work, discipline, and consistency. Every student in this room can achieve great things, but only if they embrace the responsibility for their own learning. You owe it to yourself to take charge of your studies, to wake up each day with the mindset that your success is directly tied to the effort you put in. There's power in understanding that it's not about waiting for someone to tell you what to do. It's about taking initiative. Whether it's staying up late to revise a challenging concept in physics or chemistry, or finding a new way to approach a problem you didn't quite get before. The responsibility for that action is yours. No one can give you that drive. No one can do the work for you. The responsibility lies solely with you, and when you own that, you start to make things happen. Some of you might be thinking, I can't do this on my own. And I get that. It's tough. But what you need to understand is that asking for help, seeking guidance, and using the resources around you doesn't take away from your responsibility. In fact, it's a part of owning your learning. It's recognizing that sometimes the journey is difficult, and it's okay to lean on others for support. But the key here is that you're actively seeking that help. You're the one making the effort to improve. You're not waiting for someone to come and solve your problems for you. There will be times when you hit obstacles. You might struggle with a concept in chemistry that just won't seem to click. Maybe there's a question in physics that makes you feel like you're never going to figure it out. But you owe it to yourself to keep pushing forward. That struggle is part of the process. It's in those moments of frustration and confusion that the most growth happens. You'll learn to problem solve, to be resilient, and to keep your focus. These aren't just skills for school, they're skills for life. Now, let's talk about the results of all this responsibility. When you begin to own your learning, something incredible happens. You build confidence in yourself. The more effort you put in, the more you see improvement, and that improvement, no matter how small, fuels your drive to keep going. Eventually, you reach a point where you no longer question your ability because you've seen the results of your own hard work. You realize that, yes, you can do it. And that realization is one of the most empowering things you can experience. So I ask you, what will you do with that responsibility? Will you sit back and wait for someone to push you? Or will you take it on fully and completely and start creating the success you know you're capable of? The choice is yours. You owe it to yourself to make the most of your time, your talents, and your opportunities. Take responsibility for your future because no one else can do it for you. You see, one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is set high standards. Too many people settle for mediocrity because they don't believe in their own potential. But when you set the bar high, when you truly believe that you are capable of more, that's when everything changes. You don't owe it to anyone else to achieve greatness. You owe it to yourself. You deserve the best that life has to offer, but it all starts with believing in your potential and setting those high expectations. I'm not talking about unrealistic goals. I'm not talking about expecting perfection right out of the gate. What I mean is that you owe it to yourself to challenge your limits, to push yourself beyond the ordinary. So often, people think they can't accomplish something because they've never done it before, or because they've struggled with it in the past. But let me tell you something: failure is not a reflection of your potential. It's part of the journey. You have everything inside you to succeed. You just need to believe that you do. You've got to set your sights on what you want and then refuse to settle for less. Look at what you want to achieve, whether it's mastering a challenging physics concept or solving that chemistry problem that's been giving you trouble, and commit to it. Don't just aim to get by, aim to excel. Don't just want a passing grade. Want to understand the material deeply, to be able to apply it, to make connections and think critically. That's where true learning happens, and it starts when you make the decision that you're going to push yourself to achieve the best possible outcome. When you set high standards, it shifts your mindset. You stop thinking about what you can't do, and you start thinking about what you can do. You stop making excuses and start making plans. No more, I can't. No more, this is too hard. Instead, you start saying, I can figure this out, or I will find a way. The more you adopt that mindset, the more you realize how much you are capable of. You'll surprise yourself with what you can accomplish when you truly believe in your ability to succeed. But here's the thing: believing in your potential is only half the equation. The other half is hard work, commitment, and relentless effort. Just believing you can do it isn't enough. You have to put in the work. You owe it to yourself to put in the hours, to stay focused, to not give up when things get tough. No one is going to hand you success on a silver platter. You have to earn it, and that takes effort. It's the extra hours of studying when you'd rather be doing something else. It's reviewing those concepts over and over until they click. It's going the extra mile when everyone else has given up. The effort you put in now will pay off in ways you can't even imagine yet. And as you work toward those high standards, you'll face challenges, you'll face setbacks, and you'll hit walls. But that's part of the process. Understand that those obstacles aren't signs that you should stop. They're signs that you need to push harder, that you need to dig deeper. Every successful person you admire has faced those same obstacles, but what sets them apart is that they didn't give up. They believed in themselves enough to keep going. And that's what you need to do. You need to keep going no matter how tough it gets. When you set high standards for yourself, you're not just preparing for exams or assignments. You're preparing for life. The way you approach your education, the way you push yourself to achieve greatness in your studies will carry over into everything else you do. It teaches you discipline, resilience, and the value of hard work. It teaches you that your success is in your hands, and that with the right mindset and effort, you can accomplish anything. So I want you to ask yourself, what standards have you set for yourself? Are you pushing yourself enough? Are you settling for just getting by? Or are you reaching for excellence? You owe it to yourself to set high standards, to believe in your potential, and to put in the work to make those goals a reality. The only thing standing between you and your success is the effort you're willing to put in. Make the decision today to reach higher, to do more, and to never settle for less than you deserve. I need you to understand something very important. Failure is not the end. Too many people treat failure like it's a roadblock, like it's something they can't get past. But that's not the truth. Failure is a part of the process. It's part of your growth, part of your journey, and part of the learning experience that you have to embrace if you're going to reach your full potential. You owe it to yourself to see failure differently. Instead of letting it define you, you need to let it refine you. Let me tell you something, every time you fail, you learn. And every time you learn, you become better. I want you to think about that. The most successful people, the ones who have achieved greatness, they didn't get there because everything went perfectly. They got there because they didn't stop when things got tough. They didn't stop when they failed. They kept going. They took the lessons that failure offered and they used those lessons to fuel their next move. When you face a challenge in your studies, whether it's a difficult problem in physics or a tricky concept in chemistry, you might struggle. You might not get it the first time, and that's okay. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they respond. Do you give up when it gets tough? Or do you push through, knowing that the struggle is part of the growth process? You owe it to yourself to push through. You owe it to yourself to keep going, even when it feels like you can't. Because when you don't quit, when you keep trying, you start to build something in yourself that can't be taken away. Resilience. Resilience is everything. It's the ability to bounce back after failure, to stand up after you've been knocked down. And let me tell you, this isn't just about exams or school. It's about life. Life is going to knock you down. There will be times when you fail, when things don't go the way you planned, but those moments don't define you. How you respond to them, that's what defines you. So when you fail, I want you to ask yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because in each one is a lesson that can take you to the next level. Think about it. Failure doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're learning. If you've never failed, then you've probably never really pushed yourself to your limits. And if you've never pushed yourself, then you're not reaching your full potential. You owe it to yourself to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, and yes, to fail sometimes. Because when you do, you're going to be that much closer to success. Success doesn't come without the struggle. It's the struggle that makes the success feel so much sweeter. And remember, failure doesn't mean you have to go at it alone. Reach out for help. Talk to your teachers, your peers, or find another way to get the support you need. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, but you're willing to keep pushing forward until you find them. The best students, the most successful people, know when to ask for help. They know that part of the journey is about collaborating, about learning from others, and about never giving up, no matter how many times they fail. So the next time you fail, don't beat yourself up. Don't let it hold you back. Instead, stand up, learn from it, and keep going. You owe it to yourself to not let failure be the end of your story, but to make it the beginning of your next chapter. That failure, it's just a stepping stone. Keep moving forward, and eventually you'll see that every failure was just the foundation for your success. Success is not just about academic achievement or reaching your professional goals. It's about living a balanced life, taking care of yourself, and ensuring that you have the energy and the mental clarity to perform at your best. You owe it to yourself to maintain that balance to make sure that while you're striving for excellence in your studies and your career, you're also looking after your health and well-being. Too many people push themselves to the point of exhaustion, thinking that if they just work harder, everything will fall into place. But what happens when you're physically and mentally drained? You burn out, you lose focus. You start to feel like you're stuck in a cycle of stress and fatigue, and you wonder why things aren't going the way you want them to. You owe it to yourself to understand that success doesn't mean sacrificing your health. It doesn't mean putting everything else aside just to check off a list of goals. It means finding a way to integrate your aspirations with a lifestyle that nurtures you. Yes, working hard is important, but so is resting. So is taking time to recharge. So is finding time for the things and people that bring you joy, because when you neglect your well-being, everything else starts to suffer. Take care of your mind. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get lost in the noise, but you owe it to yourself to create space for mental clarity. Whether that means taking breaks, meditating, or just stepping away from your work to give yourself a moment of peace, it's essential. Your mind is your most powerful tool. If you don't look after it, if you allow it to get overwhelmed and overworked, you'll find that nothing will come easily. You won't be able to focus. You won't be able to retain information. Your creativity will dry up. And all those dreams and goals you have will start to feel like they're out of reach. You need to feed your mind with positive input, give it the rest it needs, and protect it from stress. When you do this, your mind works better and you're able to accomplish more in less time. Your body also deserves your attention. You owe it to yourself to treat it with respect. When you're physically healthy, you're more energetic, more focused, and more resilient. It's not about being in perfect shape or looking a certain way. It's about making sure you're fueling your body with the right food, getting enough sleep, and staying active. It's about giving yourself the strength to face whatever challenges come your way. When you take care of your body, you're giving yourself the energy to perform at your best. And when your body is well taken care of, your mind can thrive. These two are connected, and when you neglect one, the other will suffer. Now, let's talk about something that's just as important: your emotional and social well-being. You might be thinking, what does that have to do with my success? But trust me, it has everything to do with it. You cannot succeed if you're constantly running on empty, emotionally drained, or isolated. You owe it to yourself to nurture the relationships in your life, whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues. The people you surround yourself with can either lift you up or bring you down. Choose wisely. Support from others isn't just comforting, it's necessary. You need those people who will remind you of your worth, encourage you when you're feeling down, and celebrate with you when you succeed. Emotional support is crucial. It's part of maintaining a healthy mind and heart. And let's not forget about the importance of rest. I know in today's world, we're all conditioned to think that if we aren't constantly working, we're falling behind. But that's a dangerous mindset. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't rest, if you don't take time to disconnect from work and relax, your performance will suffer. Your creativity will dry up. Your focus will weaken. Taking time to rest doesn't make you weak or lazy. It makes you smart. It gives you the opportunity to recharge so that when you return to your work, you can give it your all. You owe it to yourself to prioritize rest, to value your time away from the grind. So, as you chase after your goals, don't forget to take care of yourself. You owe it to yourself to live a balanced life, to nurture your mind, body, and relationships. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about integrating everything in a way that works for you. When you take care of yourself, you are in the best position to achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. Balance isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. And you deserve it.